so we were running to catch the taxi to catch the bus, because apparently there's multiple bus stations around here, and the bus to Tulum doesn't go from the one where it's closer to our place. And we wanted to really check out Tulum today and also do some kind of a vlogging style exploration of the city, get some Mexican food, enjoy, see what's going on there. It's actually a little bit rainy outside, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen and how the weather goes there. The weather is changing here all the time, so we're not sure. So yeah, looking forward to showing you guys a little bit around, as well as seeing it for myself because I haven't been there at all. All right, so we arrived in Tulum. Where do we go now? That's the question.
Oh, toilet.
Yes. All right, so we just arrived in Tulum's ruins here, and we found this, which is very, very interesting. It's people playing music on top of there, which is pretty cool. It's the first time I see something like this, and it looks very, very interesting. This is one of the most amazing places I've been to in terms of just the pure awesome nature. Man, this is incredible. Alright, so we just wrapped up the tour to the ruins here in Tulum. Was absolutely amazing. And now we're gonna go head out, get some food. I've been fasting for the most part of the day. It's already about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I think, and it's finally time to get some food. I woke up around 9:30 in the morning, so this is gonna be awesome to get some awesome food right now. Trying to find some Mexican place, a good one here in Tulum. It's the first time I'm here in the city, so we're gonna check out some reviews, check out some places on the street, see if there's anything good, and I'm gonna share that with you guys. All right, so we're on our way back to the center. We found a good place in the center, so we're gonna check that out right now. And it's super humid today. We're like sweating like pigs here because it's been raining, and it's just that kind of day. Usually it's been pretty good weather here, but today is, I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm sweating like a pig here. And even though, I mean, it doesn't seem to be that hot, but it's just very humid. So yeah, time to get some food. Yeah. This is the best dessert place in Tulum, by far the best ice cream I've ever tried. All right, so we just ordered some food. I got some fajitas with chicken and cheese, and also got some quesadillas as well. And I want to talk to you guys a bit about tracking macros and all the things with intuitive eating versus tracking macros. And a lot of questions that I've been asked is, how do you track macros when you eat out? And that's kind of a thing that it really is a big skill set that you want to have if you're into flexible dieting. If you want to make this a sustainable lifestyle, you have to kind of develop that feeling for when you see an amount of food that you know approximately how much food that is. So kind of a couple of tricks that I've used in the past and I still remind myself of is that a size of an iPhone of any piece of meat, let's say chicken or beef or whatever meat is, it's probably gonna be about 110 grams. That's kind of how I view the portion size in my head. I kind of use that as a calculation just because you can easily compare that with a phone, because a phone is right there. you can see it, and you can kind of compare. And similarly with, let's say, with pastas and things like that, you can use like a fist size. So a fist size of pasta would be probably about 60 to 70 grams. And if you're off about 10, 15 grams, that's totally fine, right? 1 tablespoon of cooked rice is probably gonna be about 20 grams. So I use these as reference points. Things like with a tablespoon of olive oil, I approximately know I can add about 2 to 3 tablespoons to every meal that I eat out, because that's the amount that usually they would add just to make the food taste better. So it's important to have some of these reference experiences from the past, so you kind of know how you can use those, and then you can track them in MyFitnessPal later on. Another cool trick that you can use is also just search for that exact type of dish in MyFitnessPal. It's not gonna be 100% accurate, of course, but even if it's accurate just 50%, you're still better off than not tracking at all. Because not tracking at all is the worst enemy. I mean, following in that black and white mindset, that's the worst thing you can do for your results, because now you're not working on building that skill set for tracking your food, for journaling your food, while even if you try, you're still doing some practice runs, and then when it comes time, I mean, over time, you're gonna get better, and when you come to the fact where you don't want to track anymore, now you will have that intuition. Because a lot of people would say, well, I'm just gonna intuitively eat whatever my body wants, right? That is totally fine. I mean, if you can do that, but I think for most people, including myself, if I try to eat how much my body wants, I'll probably weigh 300 pounds. I will not stop eating. And in today's environment, the environment that we live in today, intuitive eating, it doesn't really make that much of a sense with an abundance and access to so many delicious, highly palatable, artificially flavored foods that are irresistible. And you cannot say that you're gonna eat intuitively, because intuitively what your brain will want to do is just eat all the time. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize, is that those people that are the best at intuitive eating are usually people who tracked macros for a very, very long time, and now they got a feel for how much they're eating. And that's what allows you to intuitively eat, because now you have that skill set, so it's easy to switch after you've been tracking it for, let's say, half a year to a year, and you've developed that skill to such a high level. You know what are the high calorie density foods, you know how to manipulate food volume to feel fuller, you know which choices of food to go for, and now that makes it a lot easier for you when you switch to quote-unquote intuitive eating, because you have that skill set and you've tracked hardcore for a while there, and it's so easy. But if you're just a beginner, if you're someone who hasn't been tracking for a while, someone who has been using MyFitnessPal, or someone who hasn't been doing this for a long time, well, you're gonna have a very, very hard time just intuitively eating, because you don't have a feel for it yet. You haven't developed that skill set yet, and that doesn't mean that it's not possible. It just means that it's gonna take a little bit of time, and you will get there eventually. So this is something I wanted to share with you guys a little bit here. Of course, I'm gonna show you a bit of the food that I've ordered here, and the whole point of macros versus intuitive eating, it's kind of depending on how well your skill set is developed. I'm pretty sure that with intuitive eating, with just following kind of your signals of your body, plus having a very, very high skill level in tracking in general, you can get fairly lean and maintain that all year round. But for guys who really want to get shredded to the bone, absolutely shredded, stage conditioning, photo shoots and things like that, you will probably need to track for at least a month. Or in order to get that last shred, in order to get that last bit of body fat off, you definitely need to do some kind of tracking. But before, I mean, just to have a regular six-pack, just to walk around, being fairly lean, shredded, have the energy to work out, and feel really good about that, then I don't think really that tracking is that necessary after you've done it for a couple of years. But the key is to actually do it for a while, and then, I mean, depending on how well and how fast you learn, it can be 6 months, can be 3 months, can be 5 years. You know, I know people who been tracking so long that they're just so stuck in that tracking mode, and they haven't even felt like they want to try the intuitive eating, because now tracking is so easy and so effortless for them. It just comes second nature, and they don't mind carrying a scale around with most part and just logging. And for a lot of these things, I mean, what we eat in today's environment, it has a barcode. You can scan that in MyFitnessPal. You can track it like that. It's quite easy. All the fruits, all the veggies, you can track by portion size. You don't really have to measure the grams. Realistically, what you need to measure would be some pieces of meat, or let's say some carbs that you eat. You would have to kind of figure out the grams if you haven't done it in the past. In reality, you could probably just use cups. You could use tablespoons to kind of figure that out as well. I mean, there's a lot of things. I think a lot of people give up before they try, and that's one big thing with fitness in general, why a lot of people will assume that it's not possible, or assume things before even trying, and that's kind of leading them to disappointment and not building that self-efficacy, not having that self-trust that this is really doable. And that's one thing that I want to share with you guys here. Of course, the tracking macros we need in a restaurant, it's a huge skill set, and it's a really necessary skill set to have in today's world. I mean, we cannot just live in our house and just use all the time the foods that we prepared. You know, there's a place for using only self-prepared meals, but a lot of the times, you know, at least 3 to 4 times a week, you want to have the option to go out and eat. And let's say that's on a lean gaining phase or in a quote unquote bulk. Let's say if you're cutting down, maybe you have like once or twice a week where you go. And then when you do that, you also can make it a routine. You can just go eat the best food that you want to eat, and the food that is your favorite, right? So don't spend your calories on useless stuff that you don't really enjoy, right? So spend your calories very targeted, pick only the best places that you know are really good. And once you do the calculation once for that place, you don't have to do it ever again. You can only get better and better at kind of deciphering that one particular restaurant or that one particular menu that they have. So that's a couple of tips here that I wanted to share with you guys with this thought on how to track macros, intuitive eating. I mean, I think that in today's environment, there's need for some form of restriction. We cannot just walk around and just eat whenever our body tells us. I mean, that's the standard American diet. You know, that's the diet that has 2/3 people overweight and 1/3 suffering from obesity. You know, that's the intuitive eating without education, without the skill set. You know, that's what it comes down to. So yeah, hope you guys got some value out of this content. I'm having a really good time here in Tulum, exploring the city a little bit. We explored the ruins. We took a very, very long walk. As I said, I did a lot of intermittent fasting today, so finally getting some food right now. Gonna do some training afterwards, and that is gonna be amazing. Looking forward to checking out all the videos that we shot on our cameras there in the ruins. I mean, the place is absolutely beautiful, a lot of nature. I mean, there's not that many people today, which is I'm really happy for. It is Sunday, but it was kind of, the weather was a little bit tricky, so I didn't think a lot of people decided to go, which is really fortunate for us because we went ahead, we took action, and we got the reward. So I hope you guys are having a great time, and I will catch you later. Alright, so we just had our Mexican food, and it is time for a little bit of a dessert. We found this, as I told you guys, this ice cream place that we found last time, and it is amazing. So looking forward to getting that, a little bit extra calories there. Today we have plenty of buffer left because of so much activity. I already am at like about 8,000 steps, probably more. I think if I count time when the mobile phone wasn't with me, I'm probably at like 10,000 steps. And also have the workout later on, and I was intermittent fasting for the first 6 hours in a day, which is crazy. All right, so let's get some awesome ice cream. The place is right here, and it looks very pretty. Let me show you guys a little bit how that looks.